Let's go! We are breaking down the LSU spring game. Tell me who your biggest winners and losers were from the game. It was obviously a lot of fun to get to go, and we have a lot of good content from the game itself to chat about, okay? So, once again, it is just a spring game. There's not really a whole lot you could take away, but there is some signal, right? And Garrett Nussmeier sent a very strong signal that he is the QB1. This is some really good offense. These could just be option routes where the receiver's job is to read what the DB's doing. If he's bailing out, obviously, there's no point in running a go. Just run a comeback. You know it's going to be open. Garrett sees that this go right here will be held by this safety. So we have a wide open Aaron Anderson, and we just cooked with deep cross-field comeback routes all last year with BTJ and Malik, and we want to continue that. It's a good job by Aaron falling forward after that good throw from Nuss. This is why spring game evaluations are tough, because we're breaking down 22 LSU players at one time, okay? We saw a lot of two-player pulls, and you're going to see one a little bit later with Mason Taylor, and this is actually a very creative one. We motion Kyren Lacy in, and his job right here is to get to Zavion Jones. We're actually pulling both the guard and the tackle from the backside, okay? So let's see how this play actually plays itself out. And this is actually really well defended right here by Braden Swinson. The first thing he does a really good job of is squeezing this play down right here to really tighten this hole. Pause. And literally and figuratively, pause. This is a really good job of squeezing this, all right? There's two ways you can do it. Once again, it's just how you're coached and how the design of the defense is. You can wrong arm it and go underneath it, or you could just box it in. We elect to box it in. So now, Braden Swinson is eating this puller. Now we need Harold Perkins to go head up here with Will Campbell. And I want you to see this from Harold Perkins. This is really good tackle football right here. Bang! All right, look at how physical that is. Look at how much weight he is giving up to the single best player on our team, and Will Campbell. And this is two NFL guys going right at it. You can't really do it that much better than that. There are some coaches that would tell you, hey, we want to pick a shoulder one way or the other. My favorite thing to do here in this spot as a backer is just blow this guy up. Take him square head on and slow this running back's roll down and make him have to make a read. And that's exactly what Harold Perkins does here. This is what we want out of our interior backers. Okay? Now, let's get to the third part of this play and the way that this is defended. If they're pulling two guys from the left side and the right side is caving in over here, we need these three players to hold this backside. So set the edge. Harold Perkins take on this block. We need Greg Penn right here to get over this double right here from Emory Jones. And what does he do? He does just that. So this is excellent stuff from Blake Baker's defense. You cannot do this any better. The problem is you got to make the tackle. And watch this. Bang. How many missed tackles did you see Greg Penn have last year? The answer is too many. We got to have that play. And then after this, Jordan Gilbert misses his tackle. Woodland misses his tackle. He's a true freshman. He's actually able to hold on, and Penn does a good job hustling back into the play. But that's playing defense absolutely perfect. That is how it's coached. And you just got to execute, right? And that shows you that Josh Williams is a really, really good football player. So we get to this 1st and 15, and this is really good quarterbacking, again, from Garrett Nussmeier, okay? So you have this safety bailing out. So Nuss knows that this out to Mason Taylor should be open if Major Burns goes with this go route, all right? Or if he goes all the way out here to this comeback route, all right? Garrett sees this, and he loves this matchup. And look at this capital A anticipation right here, all right? Look at when Garrett is deciding to throw it. Actually, now that I look at it, it could have been out just a little bit sooner, but it's still really good stuff. Throw it on the outfield shoulder. God, that's good ball location. Overall, the timing of that was fine for me. I do think some QB coaches will say it could be a little bit sooner, but we want to make sure that Major Burns is actually going out into that flat to make sure it's not a pick six, and now it sets up. So that, of course, was my vantage point at the spring game. It was obviously a lot of fun to get there. So like we do with every deep touchdown pass, let's take a look first at the protection. And as you would expect, it's dominant, okay? This is really, really, really good stuff across the way. It's a good job by Chester. That might be a little too much penetration, but if we are giving up a lot of penetration, let's just make sure we wash this guy upfield and give our quarterback a clean pocket to step up into, okay? The next thing here, and I'll give you an end zone angle of this. I think this could have been a little bit quicker, but we'll talk about that here in just a second. Garrett Nussmeier, of course, steps up into this pocket and throws an absolute dot right here to a guy who I think did the most for his stock in the entire spring game at the wide receiver position. That is Zavion Thomas, and it wasn't just this play. What I am thinking this coverage should have been is a variation of 3 or 1, right? So we have a deep center field safety. So his job, Major Burns, is to pick up this deep over, and I feel either this safety right here or this corner right here should have ran with Zavion Thomas. It's impossible for me to know for sure. I know Brian Kelly referenced blown coverages. There were a few, so I don't know if he was actually referencing this play in particular. There's no way I could for sure a gazillion percent know. But either way, you either have to pass this deep over off to Sage Ryan, or the safety has to run with this go. And what could happen here is if you don't actually learn how to pass this off correctly or defend this correctly, all teams are going to do is flood the boundary and just run goes, right? If we cannot communicate this properly. All right. So it's really impossible for me to know whose job this actually was right here. Okay. But what is very interesting about this play is Sage Ryan actually sees that Zavion Thomas is open, and you'll see that he actually starts to sprint to Zavion Thomas over here, and then this leaves Aaron Anderson open for the deep over. So what Sage decides to do is once he sees that Garrett Nussmeier is stepping up into this pocket, he actually starts to run to Aaron Anderson, who's also open for a touchdown. So you see, his head is actually pointing at this receiver when Garrett's eyes were actually on Zavion Thomas the entire time. So there's layers to how bad this was from the LSU secondary. So what I want you to do, and this is what happens when you don't have a secondary that communicates, okay? You start doing someone else's role. And what happens here is midway through the play, and honestly, this is a Lane Kiffin staple and a Mike Bobo staple, these fake pitches into the boundary. Dude, with the hashes being as wide as they are, when you do these fake pitches, it creates so much open space to this side of the field. I hit the microphone, even though I'm not even using this microphone. So what happens here is you'll see that Jordan Gilbert notices Garrett Nussmeier's eyes, okay? And you see he's already tripping over himself, all right? So now Gilbert is starting to run towards Zavion Thomas because he's looking at the eyes. And so Garrett, I thought for a second, was looking at Aaron over here for a second, but he was just actually looking at Zavion the whole time. And both of them kind of got caught in the middle of playing both receivers, if that makes sense. So that frustrates me. It really, really, really does. I know it's just a spring game. I know they were playing very basic coverages, but we talked about this in the post-spring game show. We have got to get these coverage busts down pat. And honestly, I don't mind them happening in a spring game. We want them fixed before next season. But what I want to see is us not giving up explosive plays this year. I think that's going to be obviously a big key for the LSU defense moving forward. Okay, so honestly, all right, super hot take here. Let the LSU players celebrate. And I'm not talking about LSU players celebrating the spring game. I'm talking about let there actually be touchdown celebrations in college football. I like a little duck, duck, goose happening. I don't like Deshaun Womack getting into their celebration. Let them celebrate, Womack. It's not, I mean, if you don't want them to celebrate, stop them. Okay? Stop them. I'd like a little duck, duck, goose. Let them have fun. And this is good team building. You'll love to see it, okay? All right, we get to the Rickie Collins reps, okay? Simple little handoff right here. And where the mistake actually gets made, this should have been a huge, huge, huge gainer, okay? We actually have a really good play call lined up for this. And they're bringing a blitz from the outside. And what happens here defensively is they get two guys in one gap. So this was an issue we had with our defense last year. The way that I think this is supposed to look is this DT supposed to go through this A gap, this DN, Parashan, supposed to go through this B gap, and we're bringing a blitzer off the edge. And if borderline right here, the right tackle could have gotten across, you can see this get off isn't the absolute best from him. If we could have gotten this helmet to this play side shoulder and shield this end, we are getting through here, and it's one-on-one versus a safety for a touchdown. Look at Parashan, though, take on this block, fight over it. Good second-level block right here on Weeks. And guess what? Bang. If we would have gotten just a little bit better block, we're probably squeezing through here for a really nice gain. Still a good run by Malachi Lane to pound it up in there and get a nice 5-yard gain on first. And a good job by Parashan sticking with the play. But, you know, it is good to see. All right, so we're bringing a blitz from the opposite side of where the play design is going. This is a good job right here by Wes Weeks to get all over this Kaleb Jackson run out in here into the flats. This was the Ole Miss play that he dropped last year, and this is a play that we run a lot. Could this ball have still been delivered right here to Kaleb on the upfield shoulder? Maybe, okay? Rickie didn't like it. I kind of like that because I want Kaleb versus a backer. If we break that, he's gone for a huge gain. But also, I don't care. He's taking this, right? He's not getting tackled here in an actual game. I don't mind taking those yards, right? That's probably going to be a more explosive gain than the actual throw if he would have thrown it to Kaleb. So that's some really good quarterbacking right there by Rickie. All right, so this is a huge play right here to Kyren Lacy, who had yet again another huge spring game. We're running a go here, and you'll see at the snap, this is a pretty pure cover 3 look. All right, so that means this safety has this deep half, or this deep third. This corner has this deep third. This corner has this deep third. So we need the go route here to eat up the corner and the safety so we can get Kyren on the deep over. And this is just really good execution from this LSU offense. What I don't get right here, so we have both our backers getting depth, and Harold Perkins is obviously running into this flat. You know, his role right here is to stay here and take on Josh Williams. I'm a little bit surprised that Greg Penn quit running with this player on this deep over. And Greg is probably thinking that the deep third corner is going to take up that deep over. But that's not happening because the receiver that's running the go has this corner cleared out all the way back here, okay? All the way off the screen. So whoever that receiver was that cleared this out, that's a really good job to do that. And we get a nice explosive gain. And you know, Kyren does what Kyren does. He makes a guy miss and he falls forward. All right, we had our issues with the run game in this game. Right here, this is just really good defense. So remember that box technique we were talking about a minute ago? This time we're pulling the guard and the tight end around with, you know, a jet sweep motion by Aaron right here. And we're just eating this up. This is a good job taking on blocks, being very physical. It's a good job by Blake getting us more physical in this box. And honestly, our DT play right here up the middle wasn't the absolute best. Both our DTs actually got sealed away from the play side gap. This is a good job by Major Burns just filling over the top right here. And we'll take that. Some good defensive filling.
See ya.
One thing I really like about running on these third and medium situations is you're going to get pass looks, right? They're on their heels. They're expecting a pass. And what we do a good job of is at the beginning of this play, you'll see that Mason is actually motioning out here. And they're thinking, okay, they're definitely throwing. But at the last second, he whips back around. The timing of this from Mason is really good. And now guess what? He's in the box and we have numbers, okay? You see Sage right here is saying, hey, he's coming back your way. You need to be ready for it. And now we got 6-on-6, okay? And what we're doing here is we're actually pulling the guard and we are pulling Mason around here, all right? And the key block is Mason Taylor, all right? He is the lead blocker. So we need this guard to come around here and kick out Deshaun Womack, all right? Womack actually does a decent job boxing this edge, all right? So we're electing to box. We're not wrong-arming it. So he's done his job, all right? So now we need Harold Perkins to create another collision like he did a little bit earlier, but this time, because it is a passing down, you're thinking it's a pass. He doesn't meet it in the hole quick enough, right? So look at how tight Mason gets. I mean, this is so freaking good, ladies and gentlemen. Because he's so tight right here, he's able to beat Harold Perkins to the spot and kick him out this way. Watch this, all right? Look at how tight this is. So he even touches Will Campbell's backside, and he is so tight to the line of scrimmage, right? You couldn't even put, what is it, the thread through the eye of the needle. You couldn't even fit it through there. It's that tight, man. So he's coming around tight. These are some good blocks right here to wash out this DT. Watch out this DT. Obviously, we got a major defensive tackle problem here, but we're still defensively somewhat in a good spot. All right. Our safety is filling right here. Honestly, this is on Sage Ryan. I think he could have reacted a little bit quicker. Sometimes he is just so slow to react to a play that has nothing to do with him. And oftentimes we need this safety to be in this spot, okay? It is not a throw. We need you to get in here and get physical. And look at this from Mason. All right, I know I've been all over the place right here. Let's bring it back just a little bit and look at this, all right? I mean, this is just, put this in the freaking Louvre. Bang, all right? Takes on him, Harold Perkins, one of the best athletes you'll ever see. Seal him this way, all right? Then we're able to get to the second level here on Greg Penn, who's been doing a good job scraping. This time, we are able to get Emory Jones here and seal him out of this play, all right? Look at this hole. Now, guess what? We didn't get a good block right here from Kyren. Jordan Gilbert's here to make this play. We're not able to make it. Ashton Stamps takes a bad angle. He's not able to make it. So now we need Sage Ryan to make it. And a little bit of a business decision here. Here we go. AJ Swann in the game. We got a little comeback route right here. Oh, this is kind of nasty. All right, let's focus in just on CJ. It is a really good throw. Protection is really good. But look at how CJ, the receiver transfer from Liberty, actually switches up his speed. So he slows down, and the DB's thinking, okay, he's stopping on a quick comeback. But no, he's now on a go. All right, so 17 here thinks it's a go. He stops on a dime. And this is actually not bad. I think this is Jair Brown. It's not the worst cornerback play. This football needs to be on the outside shoulder. It's really good ball location. I thought AJ, he had the red zone pick early in this game. I thought his ball location overall was fine. All right, here we go. All right, you guys wonder why I'm a big Zavion Thomas fan. All right, he's good. Zavion Thomas is really, really, really good at football, okay? What's very interesting is he actually doesn't get a good block. All right, so our DBs have their issues with tackling, okay? So they see that this is a quick little, throw out to Javen Nichols, the walk-on here. And Nichols is actually one of our better walk-ons on the team. He gets the football here, and we lose contain, all right? We need a contained defender somewhere to set this edge and at least force it to go to the inside. This is a good job by Nichols, seeing that these DBs take bad angles, and he's able to get to the sideline, and it's off to the races, okay? And the blocking from our receivers weren't the absolute best. Zavion Thomas had a really good game, and he's had some really good blocks in spring practice. He actually fell down right there, but still, we'll take a good, explosive, easy play. Okay, 3rd and 5, all right? DBs are playing off. Look at this anticipation right here. This is some good stuff right here from AJ. And he's throwing this football early, outside shoulder. Who cares if we don't get all the yards? We can go for it on 4th. That's a really good throw. And guess what? We go for it on fourth. All right, so 4th and 2. This is designed to go to the tight end in the flats. Is this there? No. All right. It's covered. So we decide to not throw it. And AJ sits in this pocket. And look at this throw right there to Nichols for the first down. I like it. All right, here we go. This is the big touchdown to Kyren. And honestly, I mean, this protection, y'all, this offensive line, I mean, I'm serious. And this is actually Mac Markway in a tight end with the ones here. I like that. When we got them in phone booths, right? This is really good protection across the way. The only guy here that really kind of sort of got beat was Emory Jones. And if you're Braden Swinson, this is actually a really good rush. You'll see that he actually fakes to the inside and he gets Emory leaning. If we can just get a little bit more bend in the hips right here and get tight, all right? If he could have kept his balance and been tight around this edge, he might have Emory beat. That's actually really good recovery by Emory to get him and just wash him up. All right, so that's the protection side of it. Let's take a look at the actual passing concept here. A good wide angle on this play. And honestly, it's kind of weird. Brian Kelly, I don't know which play he was talking about on the 2 or 3 situation. If this is cover 3, this corner has to run with the receiver, okay? If this is cover 2, the safety has to get over the top of this. Then the linebacker or the money here has to run with the tight end. But this is the main issue I had with both the deep touchdowns is we had 2 explosive pass plays that would have gone for huge gainers, okay? So Garrett starts off looking right, and this right here is a huge gainer. All right, you hit him in stride, especially with, Sage Ryan not being the most reliable touchdown-saving tackler. Obviously, Perk would catch up to Mason Taylor, but this is at least another 15 or 20 yards after the catch. If Garrett goes for this, we never want this, okay? Then you have actual Kyren Lacy beating our corner, right? We never want the number 1 receiver for the other team to go unabated to the end zone, all right? So, yes, this ends up being a really good ball right here from Garrett Nussmeier, right in stride to Kyren Lacy, and it's an easy touchdown. And, once again, it's just a spring game. We want to get this sorted out before next year, but that's the big issue I would have if I was Blake Baker. Sure, it's okay if you have one coverage bust, but on both touchdowns, there was actually 2 people wide open. All right, here we go. It's Kamarion Pimpton. All right, I like this. If he blocks well for you, feed him. Feed him. Reward him. All right, good job by Shelton clearing the space out, getting the corner out of there. Pimpton catches us with his hands. God, that's a good tight turn up field to pick up this first down. It's good stuff. Parashan had a few good moments here, and I know he's going up against the backup, Bo Bordelon, but he's the one that actually prevents another catch right here from Kamarion Pimpton. This forces Rickie to step up into this pocket, and now it's off to the races. This is a really good job by Weeks getting out here. It's just good pursuit. Look at that speed right there by Whit Weeks, and he's able to make a nice play right there in the open field. All right, here we go. This is one of my better offensive graded plays from this pass protection. It's excellent again. They actually end up bringing both backers. There's only one deep safety, so this is cover 1 with a blitz coming, all right? And we pick it up to perfection. I mean, you can't really ask for more. That's a good pickup right there by Josh, okay? So the protection here is really good. So we need Rickie to make a play, all right? It's 4th and 12. We're backed up in our own territory. And Rickie says, look, I'm going to live and die with Kyren Lacy. And I got to be honest with you. This is on Kyren. I need him to catch this football, okay? The mechanics here from Rickie are rough. But I got to be honest. Backup quarterback who doesn't play much, and there's an all-out blitz. Rickie at Woodlawn had some of the worst protection you'll ever see from a high school quarterback. So he's used to guys, getting through here and him getting destroyed. So that's what a lot of, just not a lot of game experience will do to you. So the mechanics here, he is fading back when he didn't really need to, all right? He makes it a little bit more difficult on himself. And we all know, he doesn't have the tightest throwing motion. So this does take a little bit for this ball to get out and has to travel a long way because he is fading away. We need this football out here, but I still think it's enough for Kyren to get in here and make this play. Give Stamp some credit staying step for step with him. I guess after watching it again, there wasn't a whole lot Kyren could do, but I do think he's good enough to make that play. But honestly, give Stamps a lot of credit and give that pass protection a lot of credit. All right, so move ahead here to another Rickie rep at the end of the second quarter. I need this pulled, all right? That's got to be pulled by the quarterback. It might be a handoff all the way, and if it's a handoff all the way, this is a good read by Rickie, okay? But that's got to be a pull, right? If we're pulling this, he might be waltzing into the end zone for a touchdown. But, no run play right there is going to succeed, and it is 3rd and 1, so it probably was a handoff all the way, but, and we'll take the first, but still. So here we go. It's Rickie running Hoss Juke. This is, New England Patriots staple. If you're a PHL fan, you know all about Hoss Juke, okay? So it's supposed to be red. You're supposed to just look right and then actually come back to this option route from the receiver. What I would tell Rickie in the meeting room, of course, if this is wide open, just take it. But if we have a slot receiver going up against a backer, I want to take this every single time, right? Especially against, a linebacker not known for pass coverage. Even if this backer has leverage right here, I want to take advantage of this matchup over the middle. But you want to throw the outside comeback route? Sure, let's do it. If it's that wide open, it's a good job by Malachi Lane getting upfield after that catch. And he picks up a nice gain right here for a first down. So it ended up being the right decision. But, if that's Kyren in that spot or, a receiver in the slot going up against a backer, I want to take that. All right, here we go. We got some Colin Hurley reps. Let's get to it. Okay. All right, good stuff from Colin. I mean, look, this is really good stuff. So he's not the tallest quarterback, so bull rushes are always going to be an issue for someone that's not as big. God, this is really good anticipation. It's an easy read. But let's just get this football out to Kamarion Pimpton, and let's see if Pimpton can make someone miss on the 2nd and 7, and he actually slips and falls down, okay? All right, so we get to this 4th and 7, and honestly, this backside dig to Kai Prien does eventually get open, but pre-snap, it's kind of hard to see if that is going to be open because there is a safety over here, and you're probably thinking pre-snap that this guy's going to run with him and this safety is going to have this dig covered. But it actually was open. So he started looking off left and he was working right. And then he actually looked back left and then worked right back to the right and threw this football right here to Shelton Sampson. And it wasn't a good ball at all. But you do see that this dig was open, okay, to Kai. But it really is a weird situation altogether. All right, so we get to the 2nd and 11, and this is a live ball, okay? Actually, is this a live ball? Is it? Or would this just be considered an incompletion? Because it did go off the quarterback forward to an eligible receiver right there. I don't know, rules experts, please tell me. That's a good job by Kamarion Pimpton reacting here and getting a nice gain. Staying on your feet after that is really impressive right there. So Pimpton's never really going to be like just this yak monster, but he showed me some yak ability in this game. And look, he's still on his feet. That is some incredible balance right there from Pimp. All right, so we get to this 3rd down. This is good stuff right here. Giovanni Peterson. Okay, he's a really talented walk-on tight end. I think he was awarded a scholarship not too long ago. I might be wrong on that. That's a really good catch right there to move the chains. Good stuff. We get the touchdown here to Kai Prien, who had a good day. Okay, once again, backup quarterback, a backup corner, excuse me. But honestly, Gabriel Relaford, just had a really good day. Here he is once again beating an offensive tackle. Okay. Oh, that's a really good pass rush move. Oh, that's just nasty. And this is going up against a scholarship guy. This is Kari Lee. All right. He freezes him, okay, and gets Lee flat-footed and turns the corner. Oh, that's sexy stuff from Gabriel Relaford. Watch this left arm rip through here. That's called going through with your pass rush move. I freaking love that. Rip that arm through there and get some pressure. Love to see it. Now, only thing I would say is when you're getting ready to sack the quarterback, be careful with the crown of your helmet. Don't stick it as horizontally down. It's still a clean hit, though. I mean, that's just nasty. But that makes this throw from Colin Hurley even that much more impressive, okay? Bang! Right in stride. Once again, it was Burn City by a scholarship receiver versus a non-scholar corner. But we'll take that all day and every day. Good stuff right there from Rickie. I say Rickie. Colin Hurley. So, obviously, we cut a lot out of this spring game film study, and that's okay, because we got plenty of other days that we can do film study. Actually, months that we can do a film study breakdown. But overall, there really is like so many different things you can talk about in this game. On Patreon, you do have my stock up and stock down report. I know a lot of you have already super chatted watching this on a premiere. Please, if you are watching this on a premiere, show some love, man. And the offseason can get dry for your boy. And I appreciate each and every one of you that I got to meet at the game. Players' parents that stopped, all of it was so great. That's why I love actually going to games, why you get an extra replay here of this Rickie bomb, okay? Or Rickie Collins bomb. And that is interesting. You know, the backup quarterback is going to be a big subject of discussion. The blown coverages will also be a big subject of discussion. But honestly, there were a few guys that really stood out to me, and this will come off severely biased because he is a PHLer, a diehard PHLer. Gabriel Relaford, man, he looks really good. He really, really, really does. And as Brian Kelly said, let's see if he can do this versus Will Campbell. Probably not going to work out. Will Campbell is one of the best LSU football players I've ever seen. Will and Emery were just so dominant in this game, and that really doesn't shock anyone. Mason Taylor was also really dominant in this game. And there was a lot that I liked. We didn't even, break down some PJ Woodland reps that I really liked. Man, I'm really excited to see this team next fall. Overall, really worried about the secondary, worried about the defensive tackle room, worried about the run game, all the, this, that, and the third. But this, that, and the third. But it's a spring game. So comment down below what really stood out to you, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? Yes! Power, hour, LSU, bam! And tonight, I'm going to my guy Trossey's. Time for some BBQ, baby. Let's freaking go. All right. Oh yeah, well, let's actually break this rep down. Let's do one extra one. All right, so we're running Hoss Juke again, all right? And we get the same lineup again. And this is actually not great from Colin, okay? Defensive end does beat Carly really bad. Oh, that's a nasty swim move right there. Is that Kaleb Jackson? Yeah, and then we're also getting some rush here from Ahmad Bro, also a PHL guest. This is just a nasty, nasty move. So there's not really a whole lot here that Colin can do. You do just have to step up and eat it, and you hope you can beat this guy in a foot race. Obviously, Jaden does. I don't think Colin. I think Cobbins is actually getting there. That's a really good job right there by Kaleb Cobbins. But the way that this play should have been worked is, once again, you do have a leverage disadvantage right here with this backer. But after this, if we can just buy a little time to get our receiver over the middle, this, in theory, still could have been thrown at the very last second. But right here, okay, it could have been thrown, but it wouldn't have got anything. So we want to just eat the sack. But, man, look at the arm strength to just fling this thing out here, okay? I would have loved to have seen that actually play out, but, of course, it was blown dead. So, there you go. That is the final play we'll break down.